everybody. It is Monday. How are we doing tonight? Who is with us on the program this evening? Eric in first. Is that what I saw there? Hey, Kitty. Kitty beat Jennifer today. That's all I can say. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Hey, Jeff Johnson and Eric. Lori's with us tonight. Kristen. How's things in Iowa? Zach Evans is with us tonight. How's little Missy? Hopefully she's doing better tonight. Good to have you with us. Did you skip the Memorial Day barbecue, Zach, and just get Taco Bell? Good evening, Adele and Dazzle. I don't want to ignore Dazzle here. Hopefully everyone's had a peaceful day. What is happening out there today? And what is going on with everybody? Stormy in central Illinois. It's been overcast all day here. Cinnamon toast. Wow. That is scary out there, Eric. Or tornado 2 miles away. But you do get those in those parts. I'm glad everything is okay. Hey, Kristen, I'll take hello, I'll take hope, it's all good. Hey, Joanne, how are you tonight? What are we all grateful for this Memorial Day, Monday? It is Monday, it is Memorial Day, what are we grateful for? Okay, that's good, Zach. So she just wanted to get out and take a ride last night, is what you're saying. You know, I almost picture little Missy, you know, here and they had something good at on the menu at the hospital and wanted to take a ride in the ambulance and get out and have the hunky firemen carry her around. Hey, Pat and the Peanut Gallery. You were supposed to have 10 inches, Jennifer, and got none? Well, that sounds like something to be grateful for. Dana had a good busy day at the store. I like that. 3 days at the lake. I was supposed to call you at the lake, Bonnie, this weekend, and I never got to you. I apologize for that. I hope you enjoyed your time at the lake. It's probably almost time to go back to Oregon. 19 years today, Kristen. Congratulations. You know, you guys do weird things in Florida with the weather, so that's you guys are funny that way with it. Hey, Suzanne and MJ decided to join us tonight on Memorial Day. I bet you they're having a wonderful Memorial Day. Good to have you with us tonight on Memorial Day Monday. Yeah, we had a dreary, overcast day. The sun was supposed to break out, but it never did. Hey, Chris, great to have you with us. But it is, you know, we're supposed to really heat up here this week. We're supposed to get into the 80s and hot and humid. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the month of May without turning on the air conditioning. I'd like to, but I don't know that I will.
I had sunshine.
You had sunshine? Cassandra had sunshine at the stores, which is a different climate zone than our house. Oh, Michelle. One, I love that you journal and that you had top 10 goals for 2020. I'm glad we're your group. I'm glad we're your tribe there, Michelle. I'm glad we're there for you. And you're there for us, and that's awesome. Number 7 on your 2020 goal list, check. Most people are not able to check much off their list for 2020. Most people are throwing out 2020. I've had a busy day, Kristen, at my desk. I've been at my desk all day long. I did clean up a lot of things on my desk, which is good. Mary Ann's joining us, too. Sitting across from Zach, probably, but she's joining us. That's great. I've already gotten a little Missy update, so we're good there. I'm glad to hear she's doing well. All right. Let's see what we got going on here tonight. For this Memorial Day. Our Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start the program every night. Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start. Good morning, Stunner. You're just getting started. Your age doesn't matter. The sun is up. The day is new. You're just getting started. That is our Good Morning tonight. Our Good Morning tonight. You took a day off? No way. No way, Zach. I'm very impressed. Very impressive. Proud of you guys. And I'm glad to hear little Missy's doing well, because that had me worried, and then I realized she probably just wanted a trip, and she probably made the guys in the ambulance stop at Culver's on the way there or on the way back to get her something to eat too. Knowing little Missy. Hey Diane, how are you? Great to have you with us. Russ is with us. Hopefully you accomplished some projects today, Russ. Hopefully, I know you had lots on your project honeydew list. You got like a month of honeydews and 3 weeks to do it in, or something like that. That the family has left you. They seem to do this every year, build up a whole list of honeydews and give you this time to do. Oh, that's great, Marianne. Oh, okay, so what's happening in the world? Hertz has filed for bankruptcy protection after more than 100 years in the car rental business. That's good, Kitty. I'm glad you took the day off. Oh, if it's mostly your list, Russ, then get on my list. I sent you multiple emails today, taking the holiday off. So why does Hertz filing bankruptcy matter? Okay, it matters for a few reasons. One, it's a 100-something-year-old company. Two, you say, how can you be bankrupt with $1 billion, more than $1 billion in cash? Well, when you owe $18.7 billion on top of that, and only have $1 billion hanging around, that's how. And you have lots of expenses, just like all of us. They have rent and utilities and staff. I mean, even though air traffic is down 88%, you still have to have somebody at the desk to greet you at the Orlando airport if that's where you were flying. Hey, Ellen, great to have you and Mike with us tonight. So, you know, it is not a surprise. They've already shed 16,000 workers, and they've cut their vehicle replacements by 90%, saving the company $2.5 billion in expenses. So they're doing a lot there. So depending on what happens with the travel industry, and I like Hertz because they're easy to deal with and they make renting a car really easy in general. But you may see a flood. This may really hurt the used car market. So you talk about what goes on the used car. They may end out having to drastically reduce their fleets and dump a whole bunch of cars on the used car market early. So that could be another effect. Good if you're looking for a good used car, although I usually don't like the rentals. I like cars just off lease, is what I like to buy in general. But usually the rental ones that have been beaten up and aren't my first choice. But there could be some good deals out there if you're in the need of a car, depending on how things play out with Hertz. and whether they're absorbed into somebody else's portfolio or whether they're able to continue to operate and shed the debt, which is what a lot of these companies are doing through the bankruptcy process if they don't get scooped up by Michelle's Czech billionaire friend. Hey, Rose, great to have you with us. Westfield malls, which are in various areas around the country, the Westfield Mall chain is working on order delivery from the food court and shop by appointment app for their malls so that you can get in contact with your store. You can also figure out where there's crowds of people and where there isn't so that you can be where people aren't. Is their attempt at creating an app for people in their malls and make mall shopping different, and that's hard. It's the whole side of it is different. Hey, I'm working on it, you know, matchmaker here, Michelle. I'm working on it for you, you know. I mean, you just never know what a Czech billionaire is gonna buy into. So I'm keeping him in mind for you. You know, so that is something they're experimenting with in the U.S. as they reopen their malls and stuff, is that traffic flow map so that you know where people are in the mall, and so you can request shopping appointments in stores in their malls or food from the food court, which just takes away the sample lady again. I mean, how am I supposed to, you know, take Cassandra on a date to the food court if I can't go through the sample ladies a couple of times there? Not the same as going to Costco. Costco's a true date. But not anymore. I can't get the sample ladies there anymore either. So, you know, it's just ruining things. So, in heavier news, I told you that our friends at the SBA and Treasury came out with this 26 pages. I had to order more toner today because we're printing and going through so much. 26-page document on their interim final rule, okay? And it really is a lot of dry and unexciting reading, but it does have some things that are important to us. So let's delve into it. First of all, for those of you that have not gotten the EIDL or EIDL Advance yet, okay? The new thing that is happening with that is your EIDL loan and your EIDL Advance for some people is showing up on the same day in the bank account. The EIDL loan and the long missing EIDL Advance are showing up in your bank account. You know, the EIDL Advance is $1,000 per employee up to $10,000, and the EIDL loan itself. Keeping in mind that the EIDL Advance, and they show up as two separate deposits. Keeping in mind that the EIDL Advance is, if you end out having to pay that back, if you get the PPP. If you don't get the PPP, you do not have to pay it back. So that's just one thing that I wanted to cover because that's new in the last few days. That's been happening to several people. Have been like, I got two deposits on the same day. What's this? And so that's been their new thing that's been going on with Treasury. But, so what is in the 26 pages that matters to us? There are a few things. One is, let's talk briefly about utilities, okay? Utilities, as defined, and again, I fully recommend that any expenses that you do that are not payroll through this, you do your best to keep that as simple as possible. Rent is a nice and easy one, if that can eat up the 20%. You know, keeping it simple in other expenses beyond payroll is incredibly important. But if you need to get into the weeds and get into some other expenses because you have such a great deal on rent and high payroll, you know, yes, cell phone bills are allowable as part of the utility payments. Sort of. Okay? So your cell phone bill... okay, is the cell phone service itself is considered a utility payment. Most people also pay a portion for their actual phone. Okay, so part of your bill every month is the phone payment on your phone, because you guys have fancy phones, the new iPhone, whatever it is nowadays, or Galaxy, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Something I don't have. But those things are what you have. That part of the bill would not qualify as a utility payment. So the actual cell phone service would. The payment for your phone would not. How do we pay back the $10,000 exactly? You write a check, Bonnie, to Neil, N-E-I-L, no. On the PPP loan forgiveness application, on the application for loan forgiveness, it will ask you for your EIDL loan number and whether you got the advance. And what they will do is, assuming that you're getting 100% of your PPP forgiven, it will say your PPP is forgiven in the amount of whatever your PPP is, but you owe us $10,000. And you can write us a check for that today, which is what I recommend when you do go in for forgiveness. Okay, it is what you should do. So, a couple of things. One is the timing that are actually spelled out in the rule, and the full 26 pages, for those of you that like real boring stuff, will be posted later tonight. You can have at it. I still expect further changes to this, but these are the rules that we have as of today. So we play by the rules we have, not the rules we wish we had. So a couple of the things that are in there is, again, payroll period is part of this. So the payroll period's important. You can start your PPP date starts with either the date of disbursement, the date that it hit your bank account, or the starting date of your next pay period, whichever you choose. So that is something that is your choice. The other part with payroll, okay, because many of us prior to this rule were looking at that we might have to do because it's all about the spend in the 8 weeks. Well, they now allow for an accrual basically for your last payroll. So if your last payroll within the PPP, the date of the work is within the PPP, but it isn't paid till the following week, that's okay. Okay, you don't have to do a special payroll on like that Friday, that's the last day of your PPP. You can do it, the rule now allows for you to do a payroll at your next pay date and still have it count in. So they allowed for that accrual of payroll, which was nice to actually spell that out and not create an accounting mess. Again, they're doing a lot that's, again, headed towards the direction that the banks want, which is make this easier, okay? And that's real important, because I think ultimately what's going to happen is that some of this stuff will become a self-certification, and the banks will make their forgiveness based on our self-certification, or they will eliminate, automatically forgive loans below a certain point. So I think either self-certification, that you met the requirements, you filled out the form, the boxes add up, and you self-certified that you met it, or that all loans below a certain threshold are automatically forgiven, because nobody wants the paperwork from this. The thing, if they move to the self-certification model, or even just the auto-forgiveness, it'll still be incumbent on the business that's getting forgiveness to retain paperwork for 6 years, okay, to be able to prove this should you ever get audited for your PPP, that you'll be required to keep paperwork for 6 years. That neither of these things have happened. No matter what, you're still required to keep paperwork for 6 years. But the banks are getting edgy as the paperwork, as the level of complexity in this, and they're not going to make any money. And they liked how much they made on the front end for all the work they did finally. But if they have to do just as much or more work on the back end, then they're not making money. So keep that in mind. So that is one thing. The other thing is that it's, so then we get into some good stuff and some bad stuff. Bad stuff first, then I'll give the good stuff. Bad stuff, okay? They have, in this rule, treated shareholders, so stockholders of the corporation, okay, the same as they are treating Schedule C, self-employed individuals, sole proprietorships. So they have said they are limiting compensation to shareholders to their 2019, 8/52 of their 2019 income in this final rule. And I'm not excited about that, but that is the rule as it stands today. So that is your 2019 income divided by 52, multiplied by 8, not to exceed 15 grand during the 8-week period for a shareholder owner, okay? It can't exceed 2019 income there on a portion basis. So keep that in mind. That was not in any of the documentation up until this point. Also keep in mind that part of this is if the, and this is, again, things that are going to get sorted out as time goes on, is because all this stuff dribbled out, okay, if you had an early PPP, okay, if you had an early PPP in this, there is a lot of argument that you made your determinations based on the rules that existed at the time, or on the guidance that was given at the time. And so there is a strong argument, and I expect that there'll be some lawsuits about it, that an application for forgiveness should be still granted because your decisions were made on the guidance at the time. They've actually put in other guidance, okay, that if you made decisions based on this rule that existed on a certain date, it was okay. That is not specifically in this, but, you know, we're dealing with something that's developing. So it is regularly developing, and I am monitoring as we go. So the other key point, hang on a second, let me just get my pages here. I undid my binder clip, so I had two binder clips on this, and then I took them all off by mistake. So then we get into what does benefit us, and it comes down to FTE issues, okay, and so if you've offered to rehire employees, or if you've offered them more hours, and let's say you have an employee who was working 40 hours but only wants to come back for 20 right now, or only wants to come back for 10 right now. Okay, if you offered them the additional hours, even if they didn't take it, you're off the hook for that FTE. Okay. The one caveat is to an employee, like we've talked about the letter to employees before, okay, offering a letter of employment where they've completely rejected to come back. One thing that they did put in the rule, okay, is that it is your responsibility to inform the applicable state unemployment insurance office of such employee's rejected offer of reemployment. Okay, so that is important. We've talked about whether you have to be the bad guy, and you don't have to be the bad guy. You're the boss. Okay, you're the owner of this company. You are the shareholder. You have to do the responsibilities of the company, and they spell it out in the PPP that it is your responsibility to inform the state unemployment insurance office. So that is actually spelled out in the rule now for PPP forgiveness. Okay? But that's specific to the employee that isn't, that completely rejects to come back to work. The employees who partially come back, the employees who quit, the employees you fire after taking them back, okay, those all drop off your FTE requirements, okay, as if they were part of your FTE requirements. So if they come back and they quit, and I know that's happened to a few of you, that people have started back and then they quit. If they come back and then worked reduced hours, that doesn't count against your FTE requirements. So there's a lot of things that bring down your FTE requirements now, okay, and should make that a much lower burden to reach for many of us, okay. The problem is you still have to spend during the 8 weeks as of right now. I'm expecting maybe not, Bonnie. I'll do some more work on your situation because you guys like to be special snowflakes. I will do some work on that because you do that. That is probably, you're probably okay on that. You're probably okay. Especially since we gave Park a raise, you know. I mean, he's no longer making minimum wage. He's not making much above it, but he's making more than minimum anymore. No, Jennifer, you don't need that. But I love you guys. I love you and Park, Bonnie. You guys are good. No, you don't need to document it with a letter. You just need to document that they are working reduced, and it covers the full-time equivalent. So you get off the hook for that. It doesn't get you off for the spend. And here's where we get into a lot of problems, okay? So, you know, you get all your FTEs reduced, which is great, so that you're not on the hook for hitting a high FTE, but you have a high payroll dollar to spend. How do you spend it and still hit your dollars? So, I'm expecting some changes probably next week, okay? Treasury can make changes to this without Congress. They're trying to get Congress to do it, to extend the PPP time to spend, and that money can be used for other things. So Treasury, Mnuchin wants Congress to do it. Congress wants Mnuchin to just do it out of pressure. I don't think Congress is going to get out of their own way on getting another bill done as quickly as is going to be needed. And you're going to have the first PPPs start coming up, finishing next week. Okay, finish their 12-week period, their 8-week period next week. So there's going to be intense pressure to simplify this by then. Okay, or give some better guidance by then. So, and I think something will happen, and Treasury can do most of that, can do all of it without it. Congress can override Treasury and write new rules, but Treasury can do this under their authority under the CARES Act. They do not need Congress. And so there's a great deal of pressure to do that, and would give you more time to spend it on payroll if they don't reduce the payroll requirement. I think they're going to do some of both. I think they're going to extend it plus reduce. But that hasn't happened yet. So, yes, great that they've reduced the FTE requirement and thresholds, but not great if they don't give you longer to spend the money on it. So, that is the catch-22 right now. And that's the current state of things. That's what they dumped on us in 26 pages as they took Memorial Day weekend off. So, but we'll continue to sort through it, and I expect to have more guidance soon because now that people have sorted through it, I think there will be pressure on Treasury, and we'll go with it from there. But that is the highlight of that. So don't get scared, don't get excited, but that's where things sit right this moment. And hopefully that made some sense here tonight. But that is the key provisions out of the 26 pages that edited anything that we've already talked about, or added further changes to anything that we've talked about. So those are the things to keep in mind. And that was more of an update than I expected for Memorial Day. I expected it to be a lighter day, but I did get through the 26 pages, and I did get through all of that today, among a bunch of other things. So, hey, Karen, great to have, and Ashley, great to have you with us tonight. So, that is where we are there. Yeah. But that 26 page, for those of you that are really bored, well, Karen, now that you didn't, there are, so Karen, the short version is, it's not that FTEs got reduced, but there are lots of ways to reduce your FTEs. Hey, Lisa, great to have you with us. So the FTEs didn't actually get reduced, but there are numerous new ways to reduce your FTEs in the rules. So there are ways to reduce your FTEs by people not coming back, which you already know. There are ways to reduce your FTEs by reducing hours, okay, or either, your employee is reducing hours. There are ways to reduce FTEs by people getting fired, quitting, or asking for an adjustment to their hours. So there are lots of ways to deal with things. So it's all good. It's generally headed in a positive direction. So that's a good thing, Karen. But that we'll post later. It is 26 pages of heavy reading. So I know most of you will not pick that up. But, as of right now, your biggest thing is getting this money spent in 8 weeks. Expecting an extension on that hasn't happened yet. So the biggest thing is getting it spent in 8 weeks. But I will keep you abreast of any changes of this as they come out. No, you don't need them to fill out a paper. You just need to document that the offer was made, Dana. The shareholder owner limitation for the peanut gallery, Pat, is that they are limiting you under the new guidance to 2019 income. So you get 8/52, so 2019 income divided by 52 multiplied by 8 is the max that a owner can earn during the period under the current guidance. So it could affect an LLC, Jennifer. I need to work on that, and I know I've got Brad in my call list. I do have Brad in my call list. No, retained earnings should not count towards that, Eric. Retained earnings should not count towards that. Where else am I going with this? Even a C Corp, Pat. Yeah, they specifically did CNS in that. So, that is an issue. Same thing. It's 8/52, Dana. The shops like yours with no employees, Ashley, has been more state grants or local grants, city and town grants have been out there taking care of business, doing something for businesses with no employees. The EIDL, when it reopens, would be available regardless of employees, but it is not open right now if you didn't apply for it before it closed out. But they are taking into account that too. There's a lot of looking at that from a congressional standpoint as well. So hang in there, Ashley. Hang in there. We're gonna get there. If you had, so let me back up on that. If you had 2019 income on your, hey Kelly, great to have you with us. Up to 15K, Dana. So up to 2019 earnings up to 15K. So if you earned 15K during the 8 weeks, okay, 8 weeks worth of 2019 earnings cannot be more than 15K. It caps out at 15K. So if 8 weeks of 2019 earnings were 20K, you'd only get 15K of it forgiven. Ashley, if you have income on your 2019 Schedule C, if you had income on your 2019 Schedule C, you can get a PPP for 2.5 months of that. Okay, so that amount divided by 12 times 2.5, you can get a PPP for that, and you can get it completely forgiven, even if you have no employees. So whatever your income was on your Schedule C, that can be forgiven, and that is available to you, even though you have no employees, but you had to have shown income on your Schedule C. Hey, Tracy. Great to have you with us tonight. So that'll be posted later tonight, and it'll be over on narts.org. You can throw in, it's not just salary. It was intended as that, but they're also including K1 if that'll help put you up on that, Wendy. All of that 26 pages of nonsense will be posted to narts.org later, Narts private Facebook page later tonight. And then it will be over to narts.org/resalestrong tomorrow by noon. narts.org/resalestrong. It'll be there by noon tomorrow, along with tonight's video, which you can watch over and over again. I hear some people fall asleep to this. I think there's going to be some room on it, Bonnie. I wouldn't lay Park off yet. I think the argument that he's replacing employees and that's why he's making more is a sound argument, and justifies his raise. He's kind of like finally earning his keep. I'm just saying. You know, I mean, before he was just a trophy husband. Now he's actually working. So, but we'll get there, people. We'll just take this step. This is the analysis, the first pass at the 26 pages of gobbledygook government speak. We will continue to monitor, and when our folks in Washington decide to come back from the holiday weekend tomorrow, we will get further guidance and further information. I am expecting much more in the next week. I think we're going to hear a lot more things in the next week on this. So this is where we are tonight. But all this will be at narts.org/resalestrong by noon tomorrow, including this video. Will be there tomorrow. You have a specific question about your business, about your trophy husband, about your Czech billionaire, just email me. The email is Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com, N-E-I-L at ECIstores.com. That's the best way to reach me. Make sure you include your phone number in the email so I'll call you back. Bonnie and Park, say hello, Cassandra.
Hi, Bonnie and Park.
Hi, Bonnie and Park, she says. Hey, Ann, great to have you join us. For those of you that were not here at the top of the program, like Ann, okay, we start every night with the Good Morning, Good Night book. Every night we start with the Good Morning, Good Night book. Tonight, for those of you that were not here at the top of the program, our good morning was, "Good morning, Stunner. You're just getting started. Your age doesn't matter. The sun is up, the day is new. You're just getting started." Our good night tonight is, "Good night, Stunner. You're just getting started. Your age doesn't matter. The stars are out, the night is warm. You're just getting started." Look at that. We're playing the notes of your life. Everybody, I am Neil Abramson. You find me at neil@ecistores.com, neil@ecistores.com. I'm here every night live in the Nards private Facebook group at 8 o'clock Eastern, regardless of the day of the week, regardless of the holiday. I am there for you. I will be back here again tomorrow night. When the day moves forward one day, the sun goes around, and it becomes Tuesday. I will be here at 8 o'clock, live for you. Because you, but most especially you, are not alone running this store. It is time for dinner, but I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great night.